Welcome to this session of Take 5, Expert Answers in 5 Minutes. I'm Kelly McCarthy, and I'm joined today by Josh Hafetz, President of Raylon Corporation, distributors of professional beauty products since 1953. Josh, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Kelly. It's good to be here.
So the question we are addressing in this session was posed by PBA manufacturer member James A., who says, I'm meeting with a potential distributor to bring on my product. Is there anything I can do to better my chances? So Josh Hafetz, what do you recommend?
Well, I think that's a really good question. And in my history at Raylon, we've seen countless presentations, some that have been just incredible and some that have been absolute disasters. And so I think through that, I've identified just a couple of nuggets that I'd love to share that hopefully can set up everyone for the most likely opportunity for success. So I really narrowed it down to two areas. The first one is the preparation and where to focus some of your preparation prior to having the meeting. And assuming you already have the meeting booked, but some homework you want to do before you get in there. So number one is to understand the values and the business principles of the distributor that you're about to do a meeting with and do a sell-in with. And when I say that, every distributor has sort of their unique proposition when they go to market with, whatever their point of difference is in the market, whatever their value system is, and really just a personality and a culture that is unique to that particular business. And I think that knowing what that is and understanding it and really referring to it in the meetings and showing how your culture and what you stand for marries what the business stands for, I think that's really one of the most critical things that we look for when we're partnering with someone. We want to make sure it's a good marriage, not just about product, but really culturally between two companies that think alike. So I think that's one area I would definitely do your homework on. The other thing you want to know is understand the portfolio of the company. And this might sound somewhat sort of common sense, but I can share with you that in many scenarios, we've had situations where it was quite obvious that they weren't really familiar with our portfolio, and they didn't understand what brands we had that were in the category that they were presenting in, or where the voids were and where the opportunities were for them. So I think you need to know that because, for example, just to give an example, right now it seems like, and I apologize to anyone that's selling keratin out there, but there's just an inundation of keratin companies that are approaching us. They're really, I mean, at this point, every distributor has a lot of different keratin products. So if you're selling keratin, you should A, understand what products that we already carry that have that, and B, understand what is different about what you're selling that's going to make me want to have it. So to do that, you really have to understand the portfolio and ultimately know how your brand really does two things for a distributor, because this is really what they care about, or what we care about is, can you open new doors for us and that we can't already get to with our current portfolio, or can you offer something that we can give to our great loyal clients that we already have that deepens our relationship with them and that we can't already do with the portfolio we have. So if you can show how what you're doing or what you're offering achieves one or both of those things, that's really going to set yourself up for success. So the other thing is understand our core marketing area. Again, seems straightforward, but I can share with you we've had some great meetings, and then when it came to time to talk territory, 40% of our marketing area was not available because they had given it to another distributor, and it was a deal breaker, and I could have saved them. They flew across the country to see us, and I could have totally saved them time. On the flip side, make sure you don't give away the farm. When you're meeting with distributors early on, they're going to ask for every market around them and some ancillary markets that they really don't do business with. And what you might find is you lose another distributor because you gave away a territory to a distributor that really didn't service that market well, and it just causes problems. So understand the marketing area. And then last, any business constraints that might affect the distributor that will ultimately be a factor in their decision, whether it's their cash flow. Did they just lose a big line? Are they just bringing on a big line? Are they a store-driven business? Do they have no stores? And understand how you fit in that mix. So the second area on preparation is proof of concept. So for distributors, we're always trying to pick winners, and it's not easy to do that. So anytime that you can show that you have a proven model for success, a proven concept, a proven product, that helps us. And I can't tell you the first thing, so many brands that we've brought on for no other reason than some friends of ours that own distributorships told us to do it. And that's probably the most critical thing. So you need to leverage your existing distributor relationships to get new distributors. That's probably the most important thing you could do. If you don't currently have distribution or you don't have great referral base, then go to some salons and get out there on your own in a direct basis or just on a testing basis and show some definitive evidence that your product worked well in a salon and show us how, you bring that to life, bring that to the meeting. But to do that, you got to get ahead of it and start the testing. And then show us specific and measurable results, whether it's case studies or just really the science behind your product. So, for example, just an easy example, if you're claiming that your product grows hair, bring some clinical information, and so we know it's not just snake oil. Anything you can do to demonstrate that there's some measurable benefit to your product helps us to make a decision, and really it's really proof, because we see a lot of stuff, and so you have to cut through all that fog when you're presenting and really separate yourself from what's out there. So now we talk about the pitch, and this is more about stuff when you're actually in the meeting, things that you want to demonstrate that catch the attention of a distributor. The first one is sell the sizzle, make a visual impact. I mean, we're to some degree we sell things that are in a bottle for the most part. They all look the same when you're looking at the actual juice in the bottle. So it's all about the romance of what we're selling. So, I can share with you that we've had some really cool visual presentations where they've shown hair, they've done models, they've done demonstrations. That stuff really works, and because we know that we're going to take those same visuals and do it in the salon ourselves. So I would say that that's something you want to think about, how you can make your product a visual demonstration. Keep it simple. So, contrary to what I think a lot of people believe at the manufacturer level, is we don't have the opportunity to do long presentations. At times, the most we get with an owner is 5 minutes, and because we've got 10 different things to talk about. So you have to be able to, you can tell us all the great things about your product, but at some level, you have to be able to distill it down to a 5-minute presentation or some sort of elevator pitch that A, we can get their attention, and B, we can do a very succinct presentation in a very short amount of time. If it becomes too elaborate and too much information, it becomes overwhelming, and then we start to get nervous because we think of all of our salespeople struggling out there in the field. Also, you want to talk about sales support. So we know that you have a great product. I mean, you're going to convince us of that, but ultimately, how are you going to help us to sell it? And that's something that we want to always partner with companies that are making our sales teams better and equipping us with the right tools out there. So that's a list of them that I put down, whether it's samples, the right amount of literature, the right amount of field support, so in-field support, detailing, things like that. Trainings, are you giving us trainings on your product? But more importantly, are you training us how to be better salespeople? Sales incentives, merchandising, anything that can elevate how our team and our stores go to market to our clients. And I think the last thing is about reducing risk. Anything you can do to reduce risk of a distributor will ultimately, I think, make your product a little more enticing. And certainly, if we're on the fence, I mean, ultimately, none of these things alone are going to get your product in the door. But if we're on the fence, I can tell you I've taken I've taken a shot on a lot of things because of one of the 4 of these things below, just because it reduced my risk. So if the contract was very favorable, meaning the terms are really good, there was a buyout clause, so I knew if I ever got terminated, I would be compensated for developing the brand. Just some things that are distributor-friendly contracts that get my attention. If there's dating on the initial order, that takes a lot of the cash flow risk away from me. If the initial order isn't monumental, it's not big, or there's something about it, maybe it's split, shipped, anything you can do to make that initial investment a little more palatable. And then again, any other terms, whether it's margin, shipping, anything you can do, dating on the I think I might have mentioned that, dating on the actual order itself, anything you can do to lower the risk and lower the burden of the initial upfront investment can just be icing on the cake. So those are kind of my 30,000 feet bullet points. Hopefully 1 or 2 of those nuggets will help you guys, and good luck to you all.
Excellent. Just excellent insight and great actionable advice for our listeners. Josh Hafetz is a PBA member and the president of Raylon Corporation. Remember to visit probeauty.org/edu online to submit your questions for our experts.